Dollar. Dirt and money, no soul. Had to go and get it, ain't no time to kick it. Got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me. Dollar. Let me watch out for my partners. Keep my money long, get my team strong. Let me run away from my problems.
Yo, what's good, original crew, man? We're back. Hey, we got another one. The worst TikTok.
The worst trick or treat.
Let me get it. Hold on. I don't know why I say TikTok. The worst trick or treat deaths ever. There we go. She gonna introduce the next one. I keep telling you. She said she ain't popping out. Ain't my fault. Hey, make sure y'all check out the links in the description box.
Down below.
You already know where to go. If you want to first support, all you gotta do is check out down below. Also, if you enjoyed today's video,
liking it with a thumbs up.
I don't know why I keep stumbling over everything. Do you?
How would I know?
I don't know. But let's go. Let's check it out. Let's see what's about. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
Halloween pedestrian crash. On October 31st, 2013, the streets of the Bronx were filled with children in costumes. It was 5 o'clock p.m., the busiest time for trick-or-treating, when families felt safe to be out before darkness fully set in. Among them was a 10-year-old girl walking with her grandfather and a 24-year-old man who had joined their group. The driver of a Honda sedan was traveling north on Morris Avenue. Witnesses later reported the car moving at normal speed before something changed. The 52-year-old driver suddenly stiffened behind the wheel. His eyes rolled back, his hands locked on the steering wheel. He was having a seizure. The Honda accelerated to approximately 45 miles per hour and veered sharply right. It jumped the curb with enough force to become momentarily airborne. The front bumper struck the 10-year-old girl first. The impact launched her body nearly 15 feet through the air. Her candy scattered across the sidewalk as she landed. The grandfather, 65, turned at the sound, but he had no time to react. The vehicle's hood struck him directly at thigh level, breaking both femurs instantly before the grille impacted his torso. The 24-year-old tried to dive away, but was caught by the passenger side of the windshield. 3 other pedestrians were struck with glancing blows. They suffered fractures and lacerations, but survived. The Honda continued another 30 feet before crashing into a brick wall. The driver was found unconscious, but breathing. First responders arrived within minutes. The 10-year-old girl was pronounced dead at the scene, her Spider-Girl costume soaked with blood. Her grandfather died en route to the hospital from massive internal bleeding. The 24-year-old survived for 47 minutes in emergency surgery before succumbing to a ruptured aorta. Toxicology reports later confirmed the driver had no drugs or alcohol in his system. The medical examiner determined he had experienced an unexpected grand mal seizure. No criminal charges were filed. The 3 victims had simply been in the wrong place at precisely the wrong moment. Spidey costume victim.
He had the worst seizure, bro.
So sad.
So sad, man. Just a tragic accident, freak accident.
Yep.
Simply been in the wrong place at precisely the wrong moment. Spidey costume victim. On October 31st, 2010, Aaron Shannon Jr. was celebrating Halloween in the backyard of his family's South Los Angeles home. The 5-year-old boy was proudly showing off his new Spider-Man costume to his relatives. His grandfather, uncles, and father watched as he posed and jumped, mimicking his superhero idol. The mask was pushed up on his head so everyone could see his smile. At 2:05 p.m., 2 men appeared at the alleyway behind the property. They were members of a local gang looking for rivals who supposedly lived nearby. Neither had any connection to the Shannon family. The men paused, observing the backyard scene for approximately 15 seconds. Without warning, one of the men raised a .22 caliber handgun and fired multiple shots into the yard. The first bullet struck Aaron in the back of his head as he was mid-jump, showing off a Spider-Man move. The round penetrated his skull and fragmented inside his brain. 4 other bullets hit various family members. His grandfather took a round to the wrist. His uncle was struck in the leg. Aaron collapsed instantly, the red parts of his costume now indistinguishable from the blood spreading across the fabric. His family, themselves injured, rushed to his side. His father cradled the boy's head, desperately trying to stop the bleeding with his bare hands. The Spider-Man mask was still partially on his face, now soaked crimson. Paramedics arrived 6 minutes after the 911 call. Aaron was still breathing, but unresponsive. His pupils were fixed and dilated. The medics intubated him on site before rushing him to Harbor UCLA Medical Center. Surgeons worked for 3 hours to relieve the pressure on his brain, but the damage was catastrophic. Aaron Shannon Jr. was pronounced dead at 5:42 p.m. on Halloween night. He was still wearing parts of his Spider-Man costume when doctors gave up their efforts. 2 days later, police arrested Marcus Denson and Leonard Hall Jr. for the shooting. Hall was eventually convicted of murder. Candy bag snatcher. On October 31st,
Like, what's his name? The shooter?
Marcus and Lenny. No, I don't know.
2
Marcus
p.m. on Halloween night, he was still wearing parts of his Spider-Man costume when doctors gave up their efforts. 2 days later, police arrested Marcus Denson and Leonard Hall Jr. for the shooting.
Leonard?
Marcus and Leonard.
Let me see. Leonard. I was just trying to put a face in there. See, since 128 years. There you go. Dumbass. They said something about mistrial. Hearing mistrial of accused Halloween shooter was 9-3 for guilt. Then I guess he got retried. Man, how y'all get? Boys.
Hall was eventually convicted of murder. Candy bag snatcher. On October 31st, 1967, James Earl Brown Jr. was trick-or-treating through the streets of Portsmouth, Virginia. The 14-year-old wore a simple ghost costume made from an old sheet with eye holes cut out. It was approximately 8:30 p.m. when he encountered another group of teenage boys near the corner of Deep Creek Boulevard and Graham Street. Brown had collected a substantial haul of candy that evening. His pillowcase was filled with chocolate bars, bubble gum, and lollipop. But he wanted more. As the other group passed, Brown noticed one boy carrying a grocery bag overflowing with premium candy. Without hesitation, he lunged forward and grabbed the bag, ripping it from the other teenager's hands. The victim of the theft was a 15-year-old who had spent hours collecting his treats. He immediately protested, demanding his candy back. Brown refused, backing away while taunting the other boy. What Brown didn't see was a third teenager, a friend of the victim, silently approaching from behind. This boy, just 16 years old, had been carrying a weapon all evening. Some witnesses later claimed it was a sharpened ice pick, while others insisted it was a thin steak knife with a 4-inch blade. Without warning, he thrust the weapon forward, aiming for Brown's back. The pointed metal pierced Brown's sheet costume and entered his body between the 4th and 5th ribs on his left side. It punctured his lung with a single precise thrust.
Wow.
Brown initially didn't realize what had happened. He continued backing away for approximately 3 steps before the pain registered. Suddenly, Brown dropped both candy bags and clutched his chest. He struggled to breathe as his left lung collapsed. Frothy blood bubbled through the sheet, creating a spreading red stain. He staggered forward 6 more steps before collapsing on the sidewalk among scattered candy. By the time police arrived, James Earl Brown Jr. was gasping his final breaths. He was pronounced dead on arrival at Portsmouth General Hospital at 9:17 p.m. The incident, combined with several other violent encounters that same night, prompted city officials across Hampton Roads to implement age restrictions on trick-or-treating that remain in effect today. The lethal costume fire.
That's sad.
Yeah.
At 14. All for some Halloween candy, bro.
Yep.
A city banned teens for trick-or-treat. Damn. Hey, oh, fuck. I hate newspapers, bro. So it looks as though that is true that they literally banned it.
In that city.
Yeah. Older kids are locomoting in Virginia to ban older kids from trick-or-treat. Do you agree or disagree with that, though? Like, there should be
at
an
a certain age. Yeah.
What you think the appropriate age should be? I say 14. 14 typically in high school.
I say it depends on, like, because some people still, you know, I guess if you, like, accompanied by a parent or something, because you do have some kids that still, some parents may still want to take their kids trick-or-treating. Say, for
Even
instance,
as a teenager?
I'm saying, say, for instance, they have, like, a medical condition or something like that.
Yeah, that's different. Yeah.
So that's different. So that I can't put an age on.
Yeah. Okay. I see where you going with it like that.
Yeah. So I mean,
in those situations, then I do agree with you. But I do feel like those are special.
But other than that, then maybe like 13.
13?
12, 13.
Ooh,
I think that's the only reason I said that is because that's when we kind of stopped like going trick or treating. But that was just us though. I think right before I went to high school, we stopped going trick or treating. But I mean,
she going a little young with it.
But
man. She said y'all 12-year-olds don't need to be out here trick or treating.
No. I'm saying
You said after 12.
I'm saying like after 12, after 13, maybe like cause we stopped going at like 12, 13.
I say 14 because typically 14-year-olds be in high school. You can't be 13 in high school, but typically it's 14 and up.
So what are you saying?
I'm saying like 13, that should be your last age because you might have a friend that's 12.
Right, that's what I'm saying. 13 should be the cutoff. Unless the other stuff that I said. I mean, but I don't know. You just have to know how to act and know what to do.
As soon as you become a teenager, you put away childish things. You a teen now. You gotta put away them childish things. You a teenager. Boy.
When did you stop trick or treat? What age?
Honestly, I never really did go trick or treat.
Okay, anyway, moving on.
You know my mom, so that's what I'm saying. Honestly, I never went trick or treat.
That's weird, cause okay.
Again, you know who my mom is.
That's still weird. But let's go.
She don't be one of my sisters be taking her kids trick or treat.
Yeah.
On October 31st, 1984, Jessica Harrington was excited to show off that her homemade Halloween costume. The 12-year-old from Austin, Texas, had spent weeks creating an elaborate scarecrow outfit with her mother. The costume featured strips of burlap carefully sewn onto an old pair of overalls, with additional burlap fringe hanging from the arms and legs. Jessica completed the look with straw poking out from her sleeves and a wide-brimmed hat. At 7:15 p.m., Jessica was trick-or-treating with 3 friends in her neighborhood. The group approached a house decorated with multiple jack-o'-lanterns lining the front walkway. Each pumpkin contained a lit candle, creating an eerie glow in the gathering darkness. The homeowners had placed the decorations at ground level to create a dramatic effect. As Jessica walked between 2 of the pumpkins, the dangling burlap strips on her right leg brushed against an open flame. The dry, fibrous material ignited instantly. Fire safety experts later determined that the burlap, which had been stored in the family's garage for months, had absorbed trace amounts of gasoline fumes, making it exceptionally flammable. The flame traveled up the burlap strips at approximately 17 inches per second. Within 3 seconds, the entire right side of Jessica's costume was engulfed. Her friends initially thought it was part of her costume, a special effect she had planned. This misconception delayed their reaction by crucial moments. When Jessica began screaming, the sound was muffled by her mask. She instinctively began to run, which only accelerated the spread of flames. The increased oxygen flow caused the fire to intensify, with temperatures reaching over 1,500 degrees Fahrenheit. Her synthetic hat melted onto her scalp. The homeowner rushed out with a garden hose, but Jessica had already suffered third-degree burns over 85% of her body. Her respiratory system was severely damaged from inhaling superheated air and toxic smoke from the burning synthetic materials. Emergency responders arrived within minutes. Jessica was still conscious, able to give her name to paramedics as they cut away the remnants of her costume. She died 12 hours later in the burn unit of Dell Children's Medical Center from a combination of shock, respiratory failure, and cardiac arrest. Her case was later cited in the U.S. Consumer Product Safety Commission's campaign for flame-retardant Halloween costumes. The Van Fallout. On October 31st, 2018, Caden Shane Robinson was trick-or-treating with his family in White Pine, Tennessee. The 4-year-old was dressed as a Ninja Turtle, his green mask pushed up on his head as he climbed into the family's 2006 Dodge Caravan. It was 7:45 p.m., and they had been going house to house in their rural neighborhood for over an hour. Caden's mother was driving while his father and 2 siblings rode in the back seats. The van moved slowly down Foxwood Drive at approximately 5 miles per hour, a walking pace that allowed them to cover more ground while staying together as a family. Caden sat near the sliding door, his plastic pumpkin bucket half filled with candy. As they approached the next house, Caden noticed something fall from his bucket. It was a full-size Snickers bar, his favorite, which he had received just minutes earlier. Without warning anyone, he reached for the door handle and slid it open while the van was still in motion. The interior light came on, but no one noticed immediately in the excitement of the evening. Caden leaned out, stretching his small arm toward the candy bar lying on the asphalt about 2 feet from the vehicle. His body weight shifted, and he slipped from the seat. His mother, unaware of the open door, continued driving at the same slow pace. The boy fell directly into the path of the van's rear tire. The right rear wheel, bearing approximately 1,200 pounds of the vehicle's weight, rolled over his chest and abdomen. The pressure was equivalent to being crushed between 2 concrete slabs. His ribs splintered instantly, driving bone fragments into his lungs and heart. His father saw the open door and turned just as Caden fell. His scream alerted the mother, who slammed on the brakes, but it was already too late. The van had moved only 6 inches after running over the boy, coming to a complete stop with the tire still partially on Caden's body. Neighbors rushed from their homes, one performing CPR while another called 911. Paramedics arrived 7 minutes later, but Caden had suffered catastrophic internal injuries. The traumatic asphyxiation and blood loss had been immediate and overwhelming. He was pronounced dead at the scene, his Ninja Turtle mask and scattered candy illuminated by the flashing emergency lights. The Utility Trailer Massacre. On October 31st, 2016, the Tate family was trick-or-treating in Chunky, Mississippi. Rather than walking house to house in the rural area where homes were spread far apart, they used a flatbed utility trailer pulled by a Jeep Cherokee. The trailer, normally used for hauling firewood, was decorated with hay bales for Halloween. 9 people, mostly children, sat on these makeshift seats. At approximately 7:30 p.m., the group was traveling west on Highway 80. A narrow 2-lane road with no shoulder. The trailer had reflective tape but no lights of its own. It relied on the Jeep's taillights for visibility. Among the passengers were 3 children, 7-year-old Christina, 9-year-old Bailey, and 8-year-old Brooke. All 3 wore princess costumes with reflective trim. The night was particularly dark with no moonlight. A heavy fog had settled in the low-lying areas of the road. The Jeep was moving at approximately 15 miles per hour. Slow enough for safety, but fast enough to cover ground between distant houses. As they approached a slight curve, a Ford F-150 pickup truck appeared behind them. The truck was traveling at 68 miles per hour, more than double the posted limit of 30 miles per hour. The driver later claimed he never saw the trailer until impact. There were no skid marks at the scene. The truck struck the rear of the utility trailer at full speed, with a collision force estimated at 30 Gs. The impact instantly shattered the wooden trailer bed. Bodies were thrown in all directions. Physics experts later calculated that the children experienced deceleration equivalent to being dropped from a 5-story building. 3 children were thrown directly into the path of the oncoming pickup. The truck's grille and undercarriage caused catastrophic crushing injuries. First responders described the scene as a war zone. Candy wrappers, plastic pumpkins, and fragments of costumes were scattered across 120 feet of highway. Emergency medical technicians found lifesavers and Milky Way bars mixed with blood on the asphalt. Christina died instantly from multiple traumatic injuries, including severed spinal cord and skull fracture. Bailey survived for 17 minutes, bleeding internally from a lacerated liver and ruptured spleen. Brooke was airlifted to University Medical Center in Jackson, but was pronounced dead on arrival from traumatic brain injuries. 7 others, including 4 adults and 3 children, suffered injuries ranging from broken bones to permanent paralysis. Ant's SUV.
Hold on, bro. We done had some crazy.
I'll just be rolling them. I was like, golly.
I need to pause that shit. Like, he's up. The van joint was traumatizing. The fire joint was.
All of them being. I haven't even had time to process the first one.
The fire joint, you gotta think about it. You know what I'm saying? A homemade costume, nothing's better than a homemade costume. You know what I'm saying? Because it's the bonding time you spend. But nobody's thinking. Trying to be creative, nobody's thinking, oh shit, so hazardous, you know? Then you got this one, the van falling out, which is, honestly, nothing's wrong with it. But I wonder, because I'm trying to remember. Oh, both doors were probably sliding doors.
Yeah.
Because I was like, why? Like, because I was like, could the dad possibly have changed position? But on a lot of minivans, I have seen some, but it's very rare.
Just had a door on one side?
Had a door on one side, but mainly most of them have doors on both sides.
Yeah.
And I guess the only other thing, can you put a minivan, like child safety lock on minivan?
I'm pretty sure you can put it on any car, right? I'm pretty sure you can.
Oh, yeah. Let me see. I guess you don't want to.
Yeah, so, but it's the fact that they were trick-or-treating, so just,
I
she
guess you
only
don't
going
want
5 miles
to.
per hour, just easy for them to jump out, go, get their candy, come back, we go to the next house.
So this is what I'm thinking. Dad could have been on the man side, on the passenger side, because that's gonna be the side that's open to the homes, right? As you going, you gonna hop out on this side. He could have been between. I'm just saying for people maybe in the future they do, because I think that was a smart idea. Like, especially if like it happened in Tennessee. Sometimes it be cold. It was East Tennessee at that. It really be cold. So you got the heat might be blowing in. You know what I'm saying? And as they getting out, just hop out. We at a slow pace. Just hop out, hop back in. But the dad could have been. Y'all see over here how they side on child safety lock, and then as she stopped, you hop out, let the kids run, and so you can keep the kid. You know what I'm saying? Because I do think it was a smart idea. I just think it was just
We just wish
horrible
things
that
were
yeah.
turned out different, but yeah.
Because you know how tragic that is on a family.
Mm-hmm.
Because now the mom has to live with the fact. I hate to see things like that. And then this situation, I know he's gonna be like, I wasn't at fault because the trailer it didn't have the appropriate. But bro, you going double the speed limit. Over.
Facts.
Like you caused that. If you wasn't going so fast, you would have been. It would have been in
Because
point.
I'm pretty sure they wasn't going fast.
No, because whoever it was trying to be safe for the kids. So if you was driving the appropriate speed, you would have had enough time to be able to say, "Oh snap!" And if it was at night, you should have had your lights on. Your lights would have already showed. No, you were speeding. I wonder what was the ruling. Like, I wonder did they say, "Hey, you wasn't at fault because he wasn't appropriately equipped with the trailer, or he or she, whoever operated the trailer."
October 31st, 2019, Sophia Martinez was trick-or-treating in Boynton Beach, Florida. The 5-year-old wore a butterfly costume with large, colorful wings that extended 12 inches from her small frame. She had been excited about Halloween for weeks, practicing how she would flutter from house to house collecting candy. Sophia's group included her 2 older brothers, a cousin, and several neighborhood children, all supervised by her mother. Her aunt, Maria Gonzalez, followed slowly in her 2017 Chevrolet Tahoe, carrying extra water bottles and serving as a mobile rest stop for tired children. The SUV crept along at walking speed, approximately 3 to 5 miles per hour, staying about 20 feet behind the group. At 7:22 p.m., the children approached a house with an elaborate haunted display. Excited by the decorations, the group suddenly scattered across the front yard. Sophia, normally shy, ran ahead of the others toward a mechanical witch that had captured her attention. In her excitement, she veered into the street, directly into the path of her aunt's approaching vehicle. Maria didn't see Sophia enter the roadway. The Tahoe's hood stood 45 inches tall, creating a substantial blind spot for objects close to the vehicle. Butterfly wings on Sophia's costume, though brightly colored, were nearly invisible in the growing darkness. The neighborhood had minimal street lighting, with shadows cast by trees further reducing visibility. The SUV's front bumper struck Sophia at shin level, knocking her forward onto the pavement. Before Maria could react to the initial impact, the vehicle's right front tire rolled over the child's torso. The 5,600-pound SUV crushed her chest cavity, causing immediate respiratory failure and catastrophic internal hemorrhaging. Maria felt the impact and slammed on the brakes. A sudden stop threw her forward against her seatbelt as she screamed in horror. Sophia's mother reached the scene seconds later, cradling her daughter's broken body as neighbors called 911. First responders arrived within 4 minutes, but Sophia had suffered irreversible traumatic asphyxiation. The butterfly wings of her costume were crushed and blood soaked beneath her. The medical examiner later determined that the weight of the vehicle had compressed her chest by over 6 inches, rupturing her heart and collapsing both lungs instantly. Sophia was pronounced dead at Delray Medical Center at 8:03 p.m. No charges were filed against Maria Gonzalez, who required sedation and psychiatric care after witnessing the death of her niece by her own vehicle. The candy sack killing. On October 31st, 2011, Liddell Peoples and Maria Adams were spending Halloween together in Peoples' apartment on Chicago's South Side. The 55-year-old man and his 49-year-old friend had known each other for over 2 decades. They had purchased several bags of chocolate assortments to hand out to neighborhood children, placing the candy in a decorative plastic pumpkin by the front door. At approximately 8:45 p.m., Peoples noticed one of the full-size candy bags was missing. It had contained premium chocolate bars worth approximately $15. The trick-or-treating rush had ended, and they had closed their door for the night. Peoples immediately accused Adams of taking the candy for herself. According to neighbors in the adjacent apartment, the argument began with normal speaking voices, but escalated rapidly over the next 4 minutes. People's voice grew louder, using profanities that echoed through the thin walls. Adams shouted back, denying the accusation. The confrontation turned physical at 8:52 p.m. when Adams grabbed a ceramic dinner plate from the kitchen counter and hurled it at People's face. The plate shattered on impact, creating a 2.3-inch laceration above his left eye. Blood immediately streamed down his face, temporarily blinding him on that side. People staggered backward, then lurched toward the kitchen. He grabbed a 7-inch stainless steel carving knife from the wooden block on the counter. In a motion witnesses would later describe as mechanical and emotionless, he plunged the knife into Adams' chest. The blade penetrated her sternum and pierced her heart, creating a wound 5.5 inches deep. He withdrew the knife and stabbed again, and again, 5 times in total, with each wound concentrated in a 3-inch radius around her heart. The medical examiner would later determine that the first strike was fatal, causing catastrophic damage to her left ventricle. Adams stumbled backward, blood soaking through her sweater. She managed to open the apartment door and stagger onto the external walkway. Children in Halloween costumes watched as she collapsed near the sidewalk, a pool of blood expanding beneath her body. First responders arrived 7 minutes later, but Adams had already lost over 40% of her blood volume. She was pronounced dead at University of Chicago Medical Center at 9:37 p.m.
Damn.
Police found Peoples still in the apartment, the bloody knife on the counter next to an open bag of Snickers bars. The missing candy bag was later discovered under the living room sofa, where it had fallen unnoticed earlier in the evening. If you want to see more videos like this, click the video on screen now and make sure to subscribe.
That wasn't about no candy.
Y'all can do
It
that much
could
over
be. It
$15
wasn't over
bag
no
of candy.
candy, bro. And 5 times, plate to the eye, cut 5 times. No. It had to have been deeper than that, because ain't no way. And why would it matter if the candy was missing anyway? If it was for the trick, who cares?
A kid could have came and just snatched it.
Like, what?
Arguing over candy.
My goodness. Rest in peace to everyone in each and every one of the videos. Each and every one of the stories from the video. That's crazy. I guess.
Y'all spam us up. Let us know y'all thoughts about it for us down below, man. But until next time, y'all know how it go, man. I do go by the name DJ New Kid. This is
Sierra Nicole.
We are.
Kid and C.
We are.
Ain't no time to kick it, got a stack of flip for my foes. Dollar, 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 dollar. Please tell me you can hear me. Don't turn your back and don't neglect me. Just let me know if you need me.